Welcome to Hockey Out Town podcast.
Oh.
Yep, I did it again.
Almost.
I'm your host, Bill Dean.
Almost.
I'm, of course, here with my three co-hosts, Shorts Guy, Little Steve, Schwim. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Courtesy of Mr. Sam Wu, always, in the back, in our hearts, number one.
Number one in our
not a
hearts,
great
but
fan
number
of
10 in the
hockey,
program.
Number 10 in the program.
Number 10 in the
I'm behind the
program.
glass, which obviously you can see and tell the difference because I do stupid stuff
My
like
beer
press
exploded.
the 3-shot feed instead of the 4-shot feed. But here we are. Gentlemen, what are we drinking?
I'll start. I'm not even going to show it because I don't feel like it, but I'm trying to kick my keg of Sierra Nevada Celebration and enjoy the last little bit of it.
I like it.
Woo!
Cheers for vegan beers, Esteban.
So I say to you, Shorts Guy, I'm going with Old Reliable that I love. One of my favorites, 90-minute IPA.
There we go.
Oh, you can't go wrong.
Cannot
No
go
way.
wrong, ever. In the bottle, too.
Although, Guy, unfortunately, as your status is vegan now, you have to leave in the past.
It has been.
And has been. Yeah, well, yeah, obviously. But you have to leave in the past one of the best ways that we've had 90-minute.
Yeah. Although I would like to
Which
try
one?
and recreate it. I do have a Randall that I can try, and I can certainly
do that.
crumble up. I actually have vegan
I want the
chocolate chip
Sour
Girl
Patch.
Scout cookies.
There we go. We
I
should
want
try
to do
that
the
one
Sour
day.
Patch through Festina again.
Well, I got a whole case of 90-minute and a whole bag of vegan chocolate chip cookies, so let's give her a go.
Do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
In my brew
Schmim?
I think
Woo!
so.
I'm drinking
I don't know what he's doing. Oh.
I'm drinking a spilled beer.
Uh-oh.
My beer
That's what
exploded
you were doing.
because it's very old. It's from over a year ago, and it's a Pilsner, so it's very skunked and very old.
Oh,
And it just exploded. It just
Yeah.
exploded when I
Schmim.
opened it. So
Where
we're just gonna leave it at that.
Where did you find this beer?
greasy.
In my, I found this beer in my brother-in-law's refrigerator. Because I have none in my main refrigerator right now. So I went
And I
snooping.
assume you're not gonna tell us what beer this is.
Nope.
Oh, it's a Heineken.
It's
No,
a
it's not.
Heineken.
It's one of my beers, but it's very old. And it was in his fridge. It's
Is it the
spilled
beer that
everywhere.
you gave us?
Soaked.
Is it the Italian Pilsner
got it
that you
pretty
gave us?
No, that's not
It's
a
the
year old.
yeah.
No,
it's
it's a
the
year old
Pilsner
then.
from the wedding.
Oh.
From the wedding.
Yeah, that wasn't
Yeah,
the
this is-
Italian Pilsner.
No, not
No,
the
Oh,
Italian
that
Pilsner.
wasn't
That was
me.
That was a year
that was
ago.
a Bolero Snort. But yeah, the Pilsner from the wedding.
Keith
Not bad.
Bryant, you're not a real person.
It's very skunked and it's
Um,
all over me. So cheers.
You really are
Dean?
a greasy SOB.
Dean?
I am going from Bolero, Wandering Monsters. It's in a collaboration with Wandering Monsters, which is a brewery and barbecue place. So Bolero did this. It's called Wandering Minotaur. And it is
Wasn't that your
a
nickname in
imperial pastry stout with peanut butter, cocoa, vanilla beans, and caramel. Actually, it's 11.3%, so it's going to be a good one.
All right.
Damn. All right, guys.
And it's
That's
vegan.
putting the
Steven.
kids to bed tonight.
I don't believe that for a second.
They're already in bed. It is my daughter's 3rd birthday today. So
Yay!
birthday,
Happy
Sarah.
birthday, Sarah!
Hey, happy birthday.
Yay!
Yeah, it's crazy how fast they grow up. But let's hit what's on tap for today's episode. Here's our weekly snapshot. The All-Star game sucked.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
No, so really
the
we'll get
skills.
into it. I mean, Team McDavid wins. Woo woo. And of course, all the jokes are that they finally won something. But that's
Team
Team
Matthews,
McDavid or
not
I said Team
McDavid.
Matthews? Sorry.
You said
Yes,
McDavid.
I
Matthews.
meant Team Matthews. Right now, I have McKinnon on my screen, and he's getting beat up by Gaudreau. Well, Gaudreau just kind of tackled him. Yeah, so Team Matthews wins. They have 2 Rangers on there, but mostly Toronto. DeBrincat, a couple other guys. They get the win in the All-Star game, 7-5 against Team McDavid in the final. You had Team McKinnon and Team Hughes losing in the first 2 rounds. No one really gives a flying F. Though I think the best part about the weekend was Kucherov, right? Kucherov putting
Absolutely.
in 0 effort in the skills challenge, which was fantastic. He was getting booed so
I
badly
can't
by
believe
Toronto.
he got half
He
a
was
point.
loving it.
I want to know how he got half a point.
Yeah.
He showed
I
up.
don't know what he got.
'Cause
What
he
did he get
showed
half a
up.
point for?
Showing up.
Just for showing up, for spelling his name
I
correctly.
Just for
so.
showing spells his name. It's like the
What bothers me though is like how they. Cause I didn't look into see how they selected who does what in the skills competition, but obviously somebody should have replaced him.
yes. Clearly, he did not want to be there.
hmm
No,
He made it fairly
as he
evident.
should. He's delicate right now. He can't be partaking in these stupid events that nobody cares about
Yeah.
and possibly
Mhm.
hurting himself.
No.
He should have been wrapped in like cellophane bubble wrap. Doing
He
all
has
those.
equal
doing all those,
equal opportunity injuring himself at the All-Star Game skills competition as he does sitting on his couch watching Sex in the City.
I wonder if he actually does watch that.
They
If
actually
he gets
gave
hurt on his
3
couch,
He could.
They actually gave stars of the week NHL.com for the guys in the All-Star break or All-Star game. So they gave DeBrincat the 3rd star. He had 3 goals, 3 assists in 2 games played. They gave Connor McDavid the skills champion plus 3 points in 2 games, and they gave Matthews the MVP, 2 goals, 2 assists, 4 points in 2 games. I mean, just
I understand why
mean,
they gave it to him, but
yeah. Was there anything
Should've
more
been-
cringe
should've been
though than the
DeBrincat.
draft? I think the draft was the worst part of the entire weekend.
I didn't even
Yeah,
watch
well,
it.
it
I
started
didn't even
off
watch it.
terrible. Didn't they had like a whole mic malfunction with Gretzky right in the
Yep.
intro, and then everybody's mics were live, so someone was talking, and then you heard everybody else talking. It was it was bad. As much as I prefer now, I mean I'm just putting a new coat of paint on a nice shiny piece of poop, but I prefer the draft style over the division style because at least you can potentially see players play with other players instead of players just playing
Yeah.
players in their own division. So that part is was fine for me, but that's about where it ended.
Yeah,
It just
I thought
Go,
the
Trust.
cringiest part of the weekend was Justin Bieber's jacket.
that was
That
awful.
thing
The
was
pink one in
obnoxious.
the game. Oh my
Mhm.
god.
yeah,
Yeah, it was so bad. Yeah, I mean, hockey players, and it's not really I mean, a little bit a fault of their own, but mostly just the culture they've grown up in. They just have 0 personality, and
Yeah.
you
yeah.
get
most
to
of
an
them.
all-star game and you
Some,
have just
but most,
dry, yeah, some, but most like they're talking and they're trying to figure things out and they just also McKinnon messing up Sergei Bobrovsky's name. He called him Sam Bobrovsky, I think it was. Or
Yeah,
Steve
and
Bobrovsky.
didn't he say it
One
was
of
like
the
a former teammate of him or something? Like he said
two.
something
Yeah, I
stupid.
don't know. It was funny.
My former teammate
Um,
is like, oh, what a moron.
Yeah. But just they don't have any personality, like I said, and it's very dry, and they try to make them funny or try to get things out of them. Just hockey players don't say stuff; they really just don't. They're the most laid back athletes in terms of
They're
media
looking they're
coverage
looking
that you
for
get.
another
Pretty boring.
they're looking for a new PK.
Yeah,
They're looking for a new PK.
He's got a little
And
bit of
that's
personality.
But
Bissonnette's
even
got personality.
PK,
Goloff.
PK, and
Yeah,
when he
PK is
was
like
yeah.
when
on the
PK
border
was
of like annoying.
when he was
Oh, yeah, he
interviewing,
is.
his interviews were bad, and like his talking points and everything were dumb. It was almost like he was trying to. It was like everybody is told to be some specific character, and they like force whatever dialogue, and it's just
Mm.
I don't know. It's dumb. Just listening to PK try to talk to some of the guys during the draft of the skills competition. It's just like I don't know. It sounded like maybe he was trying to make some funny lines or try to fish some funny comments out of these guys, but you're not going to get it. And what
No.
is strange is like so many people talk about how funny some of these hockey players are. Teammates, former teammates, whatever, talk about how funny these guys are, and then they just talk, and it's like what did Leo say that one time? A manila folder on a beige wall.
I love that. That's a great one. That's awesome. Yeah, it just maybe after playing, they, and sometimes they get on the Chicklets podcast, right? And these guys open up to former players, but just in general, hockey players usually just very reserved. They don't really want to be in the limelight. They don't really want to be on TV in general, right? They just want to play hockey and that's it. And you can, understand that from a perspective, but when you're looking to do an NHL All-Star draft and you're going to have these guys announce it, and you try to bring in guys like Michael Bublé. Actually, Michael Bublé, Will Arnett, Tate McRae for different reasons, but some of these guys were funny and they tried to add some things to, most of the All-Star weekend was, Arnett joking around. You had Bublé talking about how he's on shrooms, and you had Tate McRae, and probably maybe the best part of the All-Star game was her, halftime show.
I didn't hear a damn thing, which I'm grateful, but it's
Yeah, I didn't either.
I did not listen.
It's nice to watch from a distance. Tate McRae, I give you all the credit in the world.
Good job, Tate
Although,
McRae.
I'm sorry.
True, is an idiot.
Tate McRae, they showed her in some promo thing where she had like 27-inch goalie pads on, and they were on the wrong legs, and that bothers
that's not
me.
her fault, though.
I don't care one bit.
I do care. It's a stupid little thing like that where I look at him like, no, that ruins everything. Stop! Don't do that.
Pretty stupid.
But I'm weird like that. Like if the goalie pads are on the wrong legs, I'm done. It's done. I'm done. Oh, it ruins things. I can't enjoy that picture of her like that.
It's a pet peeve.
I recommend everyone go and take a look at the photo, and you can be a judge of yourself. But I'm okay with it. So let's just leave it at that one.
You're also not a goalie.
You're
not.
I didn't notice her
not a
pads.
goalie. That's right. I didn't notice the bad. Bieber with his dumb jacket, and just he sat off to the side during the draft and didn't say anything. And you bring Bieber there to be a try to, I guess, bring people into hockey that are in the hip hop and singing world. But he didn't really do anything. You had Matthews just kind of there talking in his bald head. I don't know. I just the whole thing just reeked of terrible. And they really need young people in there to kind of make this, or just smart people in there to make this an entertaining watch, because it was just
Can't
bad.
they just bring in like maybe some, I don't know about well-known, but maybe some somewhat known comedians in there to maybe make it more entertaining. Some of these guys are really knowledgeable in sports, and they're hilarious. It'll probably still be terrible.
Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler's a hockey fan.
Sandler would be good.
Bring him in. Do some fun stuff.
Can't they land Will Ferrell? He's a big hockey fan. Come on.
Yeah.
Who was the comedian? Who was the comedian that used to do the
Bill Burr.
awards?
He's a huge hockey fan.
Used to do the awards.
Yeah, who was it?
I can't remember.
I feel like he was pretty funny too, but no one liked his humor or something. But I thought it was pretty funny. I don't remember who it was. This was a few years ago now.
Nate
At least a few years
Bargatze?
ago. No, I don't even know who that is.
Keenan Thompson? Oh, he did the awards show. Keenan Thompson.
Recently. No, it was somebody else.
Real recently.
Jay Moore.
I think Jay Moore was
Dirk
pretty
Bentley
good too.
drinking. Here.
No thanks.
Every epic moments from the 2023. This is by the Tennessean, so we're going to get some really good coverage right here. From the 2023 NHL awards, including Dirk Bentley's Stanley Cup beer chug. You had Sheamus walking the red carpet. This is pretty bad. Then I'm just realizing this is from a different. Oh well. It stunk. Good job, NHL. Way to ruin it again.
Well, I will say this. I got to
news.
say this. The super skills got really good when they brought the goalies in. It was the only exciting part of super skill.
Definitely got better.
Because it was one of the. Oh, there's Miss Mim. Little Mim.
Hello, Mim.
It actually seemed like that they were doing hockey skills at that part of the super skills. So it almost seemed like it was exciting. There was competition there. It wasn't just, trying to skate through this or that, and I don't know.
There you go, guy.
The obstacle course, that last event, actually, I didn't mind the last event either, because you could tell that some of the guys were then trying to win.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there was more effort.
Except for Barzell, he was trying to lose that very badly.
Well,
dude, all I know is that McDavid
He was bad.
The passing, it was not good.
Yeah.
I
But when
feel
you
bad for the
watch,
poor guy. Oh no, I don't.
when you watch McDavid do the fastest skater, you can clearly see that he is like, you can just see the difference in skating between him and every other NHL player that tried that. Like even McKinnon, when he goes around the net, he slows down. He doesn't move his feet. McDavid's moving his feet the entire lap, and that's just
McDavid,
why
though,
he is so electric.
McDavid is. I feel like he's one of the rare super skilled players who's actually also very fast. But the fastest skaters in the league, hands down, probably the top. I don't know. I'd probably even say the top 10 fastest skaters in the league weren't in that competition.
Yeah, you're looking at guys, and he's retired, but like guys like Carl Hagelin, Chris Kreider. Like there's a lot of guys, that are extremely fast. That
imagine they invite Ryan Poehling to the All-Star competition just for the fastest skater, and he smokes McDavid.
They should.
That's what they should do. They should bring in the
scrap the All-Star game. Just
bring in Martin Furk,
like a skills competition thing.
Yeah, bring in Martin Furk. I want to
All-Stars.
see him get a 107 clapper. Like Kel McCarr hits 102, and they're like, "Oh, that's so fast." There's guys that have bombs.
Well, they had
that deserve to be in the
that
NHL.
That selection of the hardest shot was absolutely the most pathetic I think the All-Star game has ever produced.
I didn't even see it.
Yeah,
I didn't even see it. We're missing.
I didn't watch it. Did anyone actually break 100?
Yeah.
McCarr.
McCarr and someone else was just. Somebody else is over 100, right? And
here's what the NHL should do. Here's what the NHL should do to change up the hardest slap shot contest. Whoever they choose to do it, say, all right, you're all in the hardest shot contest. Here's an old Sherwood. You're going to take this slap shot contest with a Sherwood.
That would be interesting.
And just give them
pretty
wooden
fun
sticks.
To see, actually.
It would be very fun to see.
Somebody probably
the
hurt
aluminum.
themselves.
Seriously. And someone has to have a skullet. Someone needs to have a skullet.
That would be a cool little gimmick, though, if they could get their hands on some of those old-timey sticks and have
they can definitely
these guys shoot. Or have it be like a sub contest of the hardest shot.
Like an old
have the hardest shot, and then the top 3 have to take hardest shots with an old Easton or something like that.
It would be like watching the home run derby at the Major League All-Star game with wooden bats, and then giving like 3 of the guys aluminum bats. Just saying, here you go, let's see what happens.
Funny.
That would be
Give
wild.
The goalies like old goalie equipment too, make them look hilarious in that.
Like none of this is. A lot of this used to be like down as far as records, right? With these All-Star competitions and what they did, they used to be like records that they kept, and it's like, oh, you can't break this or that, and no one pays attention to it anymore. Like the hardest shot or anything like maybe the hardest shot in a competition might be, but this one wasn't even close. But like the target shooting, that's not really a thing anymore. I remember that was.
It's there.
I remember that being.
Who was the first one that
huge? That used to be so entertaining. Didn't Ray Bork do it like
Ray Bork did it 4 for 4. Yeah,
5 for 5.
Yeah.
I thought it was 5 for 5s, right?
No, it's 4.
No,
4 corners.
But I thought they did a 5 one time.
They may have. They've tried to change it up like a bunch of times. Who was it? Oh no, it was. Was it Pasta that missed the final shot on the on that obstacle course the other night?
Yeah,
he came down and he missed that final shot in a wide open.
I thought Pasta was the one that he did. Maybe it was a different one where there was a target in the middle and he shot from like right, or was it Matthews? Somebody shot like they took one stride and shot it from like 30 feet away.
Matthews did.
I think it was.
And he hit it. Yeah, because he was trying to save time.
All right, so
yeah, he hit it from pretty far away.
Here's the quick winners. So, right, McDavid wins the fastest contest at 13.4, narrowly beating Barzal at 13.5.
Good.
Avalanche center Nathan McKinnon won the Tim Hortons one-timer challenge. He bests Leon Draisaitl on Pasta. Bedard
guys weren't even winding up for that. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Bedard was the guest passer at the one-timers event. Elias Pettersson won the passing challenge, beating McCarr. McCarr won the hardest shot at 102 ahead of JT Miller, who also shot 102, but it was 102.56 versus 102.34. McCarr was surprised at his hard shot. McDavid won the stick handling challenge, beating Barzal again.
Good.
Accuracy shooting was also McDavid, four targets in a row, 9.15, beating Matthews, 9.34. Pasta, Draisaitl, Kucherov, and Quinn Hughes were eliminated after 6 events. That left 8 competitors.
not
who won one
Cooch.
events.
Half
Yeah.
a point.
I'm
thought
surprised
for
at
sure
that.
that would advance
He
him.
was
And
trying
then
so hard. out there.
Nylander, Nylander won the 9 points against Cam
Nylander.
Talbot. Yeah, sorry, I just said Nylander.
The goalie's
leading
got
all-
100K
and then
for whoever made the most saves.
yeah, Georgiev
Yeah,
earned 100,000,
Georgiev.
leading all goalies with 9 saves against McDavid.
Speaking of not trying,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we had a true controller disconnect and win the game.
Just
Apparently,
spinning around.
the players chose the goalies, the 8 goalies who they wanted to
Yes.
shoot against,
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
and I
There was
guess
very little choosing. There's very little choosing.
McDavid took Georgiev, but Barzal got patted against Igor Shesterkin, and he was just killing him.
McDavid was last, and Georgiev was last.
Yeah,
so
Georgiev
that's
was
how that
left.
went.
Yeah, but Barzal selected Georgiev. Or not Georgiev, sorry, Shesterkin.
I think David
Just
Amber
because-
chose the goalie for somebody. I don't remember who.
Yes, I forget who that was as well, but yeah. And then I forget
I
who it
heard
was. It
something
was
that
like
David. Sorry, go ahead, guy.
and then one of them was like, I'm gonna pick him because he's right in front of me. Maybe Cam Talbot
Yeah.
was picked or something like that.
I think that was.
Yeah,
that was.
Why are you gonna pick him? Because
Is that
he's right in
Nylander
front of
or
me. Someone.
I'm looking
I
at
don't
him.
know. Yeah, something like.
I heard
stupid like that.
something. Was it true that like McDavid was involved in designing the events for the skills competition?
I think
He
so.
was, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that obstacle
he-
course
then he won.
challenge supposedly was something that he did for training.
He helped like. Yeah.
He helped, yeah, but that was like what he does in the off season. So he was big on having it as the skill competition or whatever. So who knows?
Boring.
Mhm.
All right, so in sadder news after the All-Star game, Landon he had a cardiac event after leaving the All-Star events festivities in Toronto. McDonald wrote on social media Monday that he had what he described as a cardiac event at the Calgary International Airport. 2 nurses
that's
heading to their
scary.
own flights helped him in distress. So he's posted that he owes them his life. He's eternally grateful and for their care and action. He's receiving care from doctors and nurses and looking forward to Sunday's Super Bowl between the Chiefs and the Niners. But McDonald, 500 goals, 506 assists. Yeah, 11 NHL games, 1,111 NHL games over 17 seasons. So hopefully Landon McDonald gets better. That guy, I mean, one of the signature, when you think about players and like signature, flow,
Looks.
or like you think of Yager's mullet, right? Yeah, looks, thank you. Yager's
His
mullet,
stash.
but Landon McDonald,
Yep.
that stash was
Yeah.
just
Good one.
beautiful.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's one of those things you think about hockey players, and Landon McDonald immediately comes to mind about like just crazy facial features.
Sammy, I think Go Devils. An old clip of I'm trying to find it real quick. An old clip of Lanny McDonald and friend of the podcast family, Bill Clement, kind of going at it and just kind of sticking it to each other. But I can't find it. Yeah. Which is oh, yep, here it is. Or did I send it? Maybe I sent it. Yeah, it's the two of them at the All-Star event, basically like kind of trash talking each other, asking if they're gonna go after each other or slash or whatever. It's yeah, it's pretty good. Oh, you're not gonna hack. The quote is, "You're not gonna hack and slash like you always do, are you?" And that's what Clement, I believe, said to Landon McDonald at the All-Star game.
All right. So in other news, you had Evgeny Kuznetsov, obviously the Washington Capitals center, entering the NHLPA Player Assistance Program, announcing that today he's going to be away from the team indefinitely while he receives care. It hasn't been as publicly noted, but I feel like more players have undergone that this season than I can remember most in the past. And there's obviously, I don't think a really correlation between this year and any others. I just think that it's maybe a little more publicized, but you obviously hope that these players, and because Kuznetsov might be one of the most talented players out there, that just seems to always have something that hinders him from being, at the upper echelon that he should be. But you hope these guys get better and are able to get the help that they need in order to come back and play hockey at a a successful level, and without issue in their private lives.
Yeah, you just hope the program helps them.
Yeah,
you just hope the program helps them.
You heard that it doesn't, but hopefully it does. Or
yeah.
I think you hit it on the head. I think it's much more publicized now. That's why I don't think we heard too much of it back in the day. They just never talked about it. Now everything's being talked about. So I think everything is much more public now. So that's why we're hearing about it more, which is good. I agree.
Maybe it's just more readily available now than it was in the past.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, definitely.
I would hope they would have always been available, which sucks.
I don't know if it's more readily available or if they're more willing to go into it and actually try to solve problems instead of just kind of dealing with
wiping it under the rug.
Well, yeah, like the players themselves ignoring it, and the franchises, I guess, ignoring it as well, being like, "No, you're fine, you're fine. Just play through." But maybe that mindset shift is happening where they're like, "Hey, yeah, let's try to solve this problem instead of making it worse and worse and worse." Which, I mean, when you read, I'm reading the autobiography of Clint Malarchuk, and you hear what he went through and the lack of any help for guys like him and that era of the game, and it's like holy crap! Like there were just things that just those guys were just, they had no help, and they were, if he said that when he came out and he said he had an issue, like the next game, like that's all he heard from the other bench was them like mocking him for having some kind of trouble. So things are shifting, and people are more than willing to go into things like this, which is really good.
I just wanted to note it because it has been a point, and Bettman even made this point at the All-Star game. He does his state of the fan kind of addressed, and he did talk about the case with Hockey Canada. Just the only thing we know, right, is that the 5 players turned themselves in, and they're going to be charged with sexual assault. You had Hart, Dubé, Foote, Formenton, and McLeod, who faces a secondary charge. So that's all we pretty much should know. But it's just one of those things that's ongoing. He made note of that during the All-Star game weekend because there's a lot of people asking about it. NHL did their own investigation. They'll come out with their findings after the proceedings, and they'll kind of, I guess, delve into anything, post that if they want to. But, it's just a fluid situation. So that's pretty much all we wanted to kind of get into on that. Unless you guys have anything, I figured we'll just leave it.
Nope.
Yeah, let it go.
Yep.
Let the proceedings ensue.
Yep. Before we get to the teams, the rankings, and what's going to kind of happen rest of the season, Steve and I saw Penguins signing Jesse Puyarvi through 24-25. He's had a pretty good, stint with Wilkes-Barre so far. I think it was 9 points.
Yeah, just a handful of games. Yeah, he signed he came in on a PTO, which then transitioned to a Wilkes-Barre PTO, and now he played very well down in Wilkes-Barre, and now earned himself a nice little 2-year contract. So I think this year and next year, league minimum.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, good for him. I mean, he overcame. I know that. Yeah, he seems like he's a pretty. He was on a disappointing trajectory there in Edmonton, but beyond that, it's good to see him be able to come back after double hip surgery, and try. I think it's a low risk, high reward situation for Pittsburgh, potentially, but if anything, he gets waived, and that's that. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep.
But good for him though. Glad to see him back.
Yeah, agreed. You had a team in Utah possibly coming up, and there was talks with Brian Smith, who's the current owner of the Utah Jazz, talking about getting a team into Utah, and he asked the league to open the expansion window. So we'll see what that happens, but on on the other front, you have more bad news for the Coyotes, and this is where I'm hoping that if they're going to do something, that it's a relocate, not an expansion, because I don't see how the league will be successful with more teams. I think they need to leave it at 32. They have markets that they can rotate around if they want to get someone else in, because I think there's some floundering markets, with Coyotes being one of them. But this was the quote by NHLPA's Marty Walsh. They were talking about, we're going to find a new place quickly. The year has gone by, and they still haven't found anything, at least to my knowledge. So the clock is ticking on Arizona, in my opinion. Regarding Salt Lake City, to me, that's a message to the Arizona Coyotes. The NHL has basically said they need to know about Arizona by the All-Star break. We're a week away. This was right before this, but we're a week away from the All-Star break, and still no news. I don't know what they're going to do with Arizona, but I just don't know that Arizona is a market that's going to be able to succeed with hockey. They've had tried multiple times with this, and nothing's kind of happened. And for me, I would think you'd want to pull the plug. I understand that it's a top 10 TV market. Same thing with Atlanta, and that's why they want to get back to Atlanta. But you've had franchises go to these places and fail. And how many times are you going to do that when you have markets that would succeed? I don't know if Salt Lake City is one of those markets, but you can't tell me Quebec City.
Quebec. That's the one I was trying to say. Yeah,
Quebec. Time wouldn't succeed. Or even going to Portland. They talk about Portland. There's markets out there that I think would do better. Find another Canadian market. Make 8 teams in Canada. I think that would be fun.
I don't think. Also on that, I don't think Houston would be good for hockey either, because Dallas is barely afloat as far as hockey ratings go. These big markets, they're comparing them to the big sports. They're big markets in baseball. They're big markets in football.
Yep.
And that's where it ends. Yeah. And just because they're a big market in these sports doesn't mean they're going to be a big market in all sports. It's rare that you see teams that are like that. Pittsburgh's one where you got their bleed true and black and gold for Pirates, Steelers, and Penguins. There's not many cities at New York. Obviously New York, LA. Maybe with the Kings, not as much, but I don't know. You just don't. They're big on the big sports, and hockey's not a big market in the United States. It's getting bigger, but it's the biggest markets are like in the the lowest population states in the Midwest and the Dakotas and the Minnesota, and where they're huge. They're the hockey team, the college hockey teams are their life. It's like with like Alabama, for instance, with college football and states like that, where the college football team is their entire life, their entire market.
It's huge.
And then you have that for hockey too, in these other smaller towns in Midwest or West or whatever.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
You make I don't know about point. Expansion. Like the NFL's not kicking down the door to expand in Alabama, and Alabama is like a
football crazed. Yeah.
But also, if you keep adding teams, if you keep adding teams,
ridiculous at some point,
and the cap goes up, like I feel like there's gonna be stacked teams and then teams with nothing. Like you're watering down the talent pool. Like I get that there's some fringe guys in the minors that can probably play, or some guys that didn't receive contracts that could probably still play. Zach Parise just signed with Colorado. He was one that might have signed with other teams, or somebody like Phil Kessel. Or Puljujärvi, with his injury. So, but who knows? But then again, we're still having I don't think there's going to be guys that are just going to sign big contracts in these markets just because. And then of course you have the expansion draft where you're forcing guys to go over there. It doesn't mean they're going to stay. Number one, but also with the teams learned with the Seattle expansion versus the Vegas expansion. So now in more expansion, it's going to be even more watered down. So, and especially if imagine they had 2 teams at the same time. I don't know. And you're still going to have the top teams in the big markets. They're still going to have the top end talent, and these other teams are going to have nothing. So you're going to add these 2 teams, Atlanta and Salt Lake City, and they're not going to have any stars to market.
Yeah.
If you're going to add a team,
shit's going to happen.
If you're going to add a team, you have to add Quebec. You have to add Quebec. I know Quebec had their team and lost it, but you have to add Quebec because that just seems like the best city to go to. But I'm also definitely an advocate for keeping teams where they are because I remember what it was like to possibly lose my team, and I said that before. I've said that here before. It sucks. But I feel like though as well with Austin Matthews being inspired by going to a Coyotes game, there's no way that while Bettman's in charge that he's going to move Arizona.
Yeah.
There's just no way. I feel like Bettman is so far deep in on Arizona that until Bettman is not the commissioner, that team is staying put no matter what. He's just too deep in that team. And then with Austin, like I said, with Matthews being like, "Oh, I went to a Coyotes game and I loved the," that's the exact reason why they wanted the Coyotes in markets like that.
Yeah. It sucks because, like I said, you have some good, hockey markets out there that I think could successfully house an NHL franchise and be competitive.
Yeah, better
and
than
they just
these
want
two.
to. Yeah,
I don't understand the whole Atlanta thing. The whole Atlanta thing is so stupid.
Well,
how many
so what did
times can you go to Atlanta?
It's a top 5 market
to make a team
in TV,
yeah, but not for hockey.
They want the ratings.
Not for hockey.
Yeah, but they just see the
hockey.
numbers, and that's the thing. Because I think
So
I saw a graphic.
What's going to change?
You can do it.
What's going to change?
MLB
What's going to change from then until now?
Nothing will change. I agree with you guys.
There's
what
more,
I saw
I
was
can't imagine there's more interest now. They might have like a season or two where they're like, hey, there's a hockey team back, let's go, and then gone.
The only
then it's gonna
I guarantee
the teams play, and then it fizzles out. Like it's gonna be the same thing. With this freaking team.
I guarantee that what they're looking at with Atlanta is they're looking at what happened when Atlanta United came to the league in MLS, which is sold out. What's his name's stadium there, Megatron's butthole, and has sold that stadium out over and over and over and over again. And I just feel like they're like, oh man, if they could do that with soccer, we could do that again with hockey. It's like, oh man, just don't.
It doesn't translate.
Don't expand. Don't expand. Don't expand.
A completely different sport to another sport. And Atlanta failed. You forget, Atlanta had Marian Hossa, Ilya Kovalchuk, Danny Heatley, and I can't remember who else was on that roster, but those 3 were on that roster at one point, and they still failed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah.
They had Moose. They had Johan Hedberg there too.
Mark Savard.
Hall of Famer Marian Hossa, who they then traded because they couldn't keep him. It's just can't keep him in the market. No one's there.
Savard was on that team too, right?
Well, I'm sorry, Pascal Dupuis.
Pascal Dupuis
was also there.
The graphic that I saw was that MLB, NFL, and NBA all have 30 U.S. markets, and the NHL only has 26. So they're trying to find those 4 markets that they can continue to go, and that's Atlanta, that's Salt Lake City, that's Houston, and that's so that's why I guess they keep going back to see what is available in these markets. I don't agree with it, but that's
the league has the NHL has the most Canadian teams out of any of those leagues.
Yeah, I know.
They also granted, okay, they have 26. They have 26 U.S. markets, but they also have 7 Canadian markets.
And Toronto's a big one. Vancouver's a big one. Montreal's a huge
all their Canadian ones are huge.
Yeah,
even Winnipeg.
So if you put any team in any Canada markets, you're good.
You're gonna get fans. Yeah. Well, that's just the NHL being dumb. All right, let's quickly get to. Yep. As we always say, it's the same thing every single time. I'm just going through Facebook Live. Some things I will not, mention, but
let's
just, if you're going like anywhere, like Regular says, Quebec, and be done with it. Don't go back to Atlanta.
Nobody thinks that's a good idea, except for
Craig Best thinking Rick Tocchet should be the Devils coach. Too bad he's not around or available.
Tockett's a good coach. I've liked Tocchet for a long time.
He really is.
He's coaching somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, he just a person like Tocchet, he says.
Yeah, it'd be
Wow.
nice to have somebody, a coach like Tocchet. Yeah, he's a player's coach. He friggin' settled Phil Kessel. And Phil Kessel's the uncoachable player, and he coached Phil Kessel.
Yep. Scheifele could return for the Jets tomorrow. Hughes this week.
I think Scheifele is slated to return tomorrow.
I don't think. Return to Jets tomorrow. Did we talk about the Lindholm trade last week?
No, I don't
Was
think
that
so.
No, it happened after.
Yeah, I forgot about that. So Elias Lindholm goes to Vancouver. They pull in their second line center. Right now he'll be skating on a wing with Elias Pettersson and I believe JT Miller. But they deal Andrei Kuzmenko, first round pick, conditional fourth, which could be a third, and then defensive prospect Hunter Brustevich and Yoni Yermo. Brustevich is someone that a lot of people compare to Adam Fox, but they're very high on him. Between that and the trade for Monahan, which was a first and a fourth,
they're
rough. Pricing the market very, very high. And Monahan, I don't think is very good.
Trade deadline.
Monahan is having a solid season. He's having a solid season, and the last time he had a good season was with Calgary, and when was that? 2016.
Yeah.
And he's had nothing but hot trash in between. So that's a lot to give up for a guy that just happens to be doing pretty okay this season. But I guess it's
the trade deadline is going to be a mess.
I don't know.
It's going to be a
Plus,
disaster.
they don't know. You're already paying. I mean, Lindholm is. By the way, what's Lindholm's contract status? I forgot to look that up.
I believe he's a free agent at the end. This is the final season of a 6-year contract. He signed with the Flames on July 16th of 2018.
That's a rental trade.
He'll be a UFA.
Oh yeah, there's going to be and one of the best players that's available with Adam Henrique is going to be a rental trade if anyone takes him.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to price out a lot of teams in the market because that's pretty high asks.
I think there's going to be a ton of first round picks being traded at this deadline.
Yep, yes.
Not anticipating this deadline.
All right. Quickly, we talked about the standings last week.
Fucking Sean Walker from Philly.
Yeah. Going to also break right now. You have a few games. Rangers at Colorado. They're down 1-0. You have a couple other games in action, including the Islanders and Toronto. Looking through, standings. We kind of went over this last week, but if you guys, one team, Eastern Conference and Western Conference, who do you expect to make it when I see him make a move, jump up in the standings, make a playoff spot that's not currently in a playoff spot, and what team could you see faltering from a playoff spot and not making the playoffs?
Faltering is Philly.
All right.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Philly, they sit third in the Metro, 56 points, but they have, they're 5-5 in their last 10, but they're 5 loss streak. And by the way, we still tomorrow. Yep, lost number one goalie. Tomorrow we will see. True. Tomorrow we will see if Edmonton can extend a streak to 17 against Vegas Golden Knights. So we'll see what happens there. But all right. So you guys think? Well, all of you agree? Philly? Any other teams you could see out of a playoff spot right now? Right now in the playoffs, I should just note this: playoffs right now. Boston 1, Rangers 2. Boston 1, Panthers 2, Rangers 3, Carolina 4, 5 is Tampa, 6 would be Toronto, 7 would be Detroit, 8 would be Philadelphia Flyers.
And the Flyers sitting 3 in the Atlantic. So it's Rangers, Carolina, Philly, Boston, Florida, Tampa, wild card, Toronto, Detroit, in that order. I mean, you could also see Detroit falling out, but I feel like Philly's almost a guarantee at this point, unless everybody who's sitting below the wild card spot just decides they want to play just as badly.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I don't think I can pick. I don't think I can pick one team out of who's not in a playoff spot that I'm just like they're definitely getting in.
I think it's coming down to the last couple of days. It's gonna be a bunch of teams. I think I like Pitt too because they have games in hand.
Pitt the most.
They're playing much better than Philadelphia's playing. Philadelphia does not. Philadelphia's like
they do have a
very
games
in
LA
hand
right now. Not as bad.
They also have one of the harder remaining schedules.
Who does? Pittsburgh or Philly?
Pittsburgh does.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I think. I mean, if you were, I still think that Pittsburgh should be competing for a playoff spot, and I think they probably will continue to compete for one. But I can't say with the absolute certainty that they're a team that can. I mean, the Islanders definitely, I guess, can. They always
because the goalie.
I honestly don't know about the Devils. You think that they should, and they probably can at least kind of hang around. Will they be the team that definitely does? I have no idea. I can't I literally can't. I can't look at any of these teams and be like, yeah, it's one of them.
Devils got to get healthy, and then they can make a run.
Oh yeah,
but I don't know.
That's got a lot of. There's just a lot of mind. I mean, we'll go down the list of the teams who aren't in the playoffs right now. I'm just gonna say goal differential. New York Islanders
not in the playoffs.
-23.
Yep.
Not in the playoffs. -23. New Jersey Devils -7. Not horrible, not good. Washington Capitals -31. Buffalo Sabres -9. Montreal Canadiens -39. So you have a lot of these guys are getting, and then you have Pittsburgh who's +12, who, probably, I don't know, they probably should sneak into that spot. But if anybody is able to underachieve with the best of them, it's the Pittsburgh Penguins. So only time will tell. But I do think it won't be Philly.
It's going to be somebody
positive.
Somebody's going to get in by snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, or someone's going to fall out for that reason. Someone's going to fall out because they're going to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Yeah, seriously, it's going to be a mess, and I don't know what it's going to be. Like, I want to say the Devils are going to make it, but with the way that they're playing now, they're wasting so many opportunities with the games at hand that they've had, and they're letting games. Looking at their schedule coming up. Like the games they got coming up, we have Colorado tomorrow. That's going to be tough, but Calgary is a must-win coming up this week, and Carolina is a must-win because they're above them in the standings in the Metro. Like if they don't, Schwim, you're right. They got to get healthy, but if they don't start winning, all of a sudden they're going to be on even par, or one more game played than everyone else and still in the same position, and it's going to be a steeper hill to climb. So if they don't do it soon, they're going to rue the points that they're losing right now.
Very true. Agree.
Oh wait, was I supposed to be like one of those unhinged fans saying that they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to trade a 6th-round pick for Hannafin at the deadline and bring in
very interesting.
Bring in Shesterkin from the Rangers for a 7th rounder?
I think the trade deadline is going to be pretty interesting for a few teams because there's going to be.
Schwem,
I think you're going to end up seeing some buyers who probably shouldn't be buyers.
My stupid ass name.
I was going to say, Ray Leo says, if these are the prices, maybe Shroom should save his PTO on deadline day. Very, very good. Right. I very much agree.
God. I'm going to need multiple days with all this shit that's going on. I'm going to need the following day off. It's going to be so miserable. It's going to be like friggin' Tanner Jeannot trades all over the place.
Yeah, that's a lot, yeah.
I hope Tampa – I hope on the deadline Tampa –
it's already traded.
And I hope they trade the 1st-round pick to bring Corey Perry back to Tampa.
It's going to be for a Flyers player. They're not going to bring Corey Perry back to Tampa. And if they do, I don't know what I'm going to do.
Oh, that's why Edmonton signed him just for fucking trade bait. That's why I just
trading him to Tampa.
Just for trade bait.
Yeah.
Just for trade
they bring back Corey Perry.
1st-round pick out of Tampa.
They bring back Corey Perry and Tampa legend Mike Smith was back.
Oh my God! If Mike Smith comes back, but as like an analyst or a goaltending coach for Tampa or something like that, I'm gonna lose my shit. And if Corey Perry comes anywhere near Tampa, I don't know.
Unless it's in the finals, against Tampa, and then Corey
for us.
And no. Watch it's Edmonton Tampa in the finals, and you think it's a guaranteed win. Corey Perry wins the cup at Tampa.
Corey Perry,
that would happen.
There's no way he's winning a cup.
That would happen.
That's
just
true.
To piss you off.
All right, in the Western Conference,
God,
these are the teams right now in the playoffs. You have Vancouver, Avalanche, Dallas, Jets, Knights, Oilers, Kings, and the Blues. What would you guys say in terms of not making it?
My bad, I'm looking at the wrong thing.
I can't. I still find it hard to believe that St. Louis is in the wild card spot, and I can't imagine that's going to stay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think the top three, unless LA is sliding with no end in sight.
Big time.
Yeah,
I still think they're going to make. I still think they're going to make the playoffs, but I find them more to be like a wild card. But I don't have anyone really overtaking both those teams because LA is still the better team out of any of them. But otherwise, Nashville is pretty pedestrian. Seattle, who knows? Calgary just gave up Lindholm, so they're pretty much toast. Arizona's been surprising, but they're not going anywhere, right? And then you have the bottom dwellers who are just real bad. I can't imagine St. Louis stays.
I can see Nashville sneaking in.
Yeah,
I can see Nashville sneaking in.
If somebody could sneak in, I think it's one of those two.
Schnick.
I still could see Arizona. They're plucky. I'd like to say that just because it'd be fun to see them come in, but
I would love to see a playoff series at the.
I'd say Nashville is the team that would jump, and then St. Louis.
But they're barely. I mean, we're talking about them being in the playoff race, and they're one game above 500. And if you take their overtime losses, they're technically below 500. So that's saying a lot, These bottom teams. Right now, bottom teams in the West are bad. And then you have the 6-ish teams that are just real good.
I'd still love to see a Stanley Cup final at Mullet Arena. The Stanley Cup being awarded. Yeah. The Stanley Cup being awarded at Mullet Arena in front of 5,000 people.
I was going to say, I would think the NHL would move them on purpose to a different arena so they could get more fans in the stands to watch these games.
Where? Unless they moved them to.
I don't know, but. Do you really think
the NHL is going to make a smart move as a league? You're assuming with common sense.
Well, I know it's not happening, but in the craziest of all ideas,
because Arizona is sniffing that last wild card spot from just above 500 right now. We're talking about imagine the Stanley Cup final.
I would say you don't have to worry about anything.
The league would be so stupid. They'd be like, Arizona will now play their home Stanley Cup final games in Quebec City.
Yeah.
They would do something stupid like that.
In Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah.
The end of this season is going to be the Western Conference is going to be boring as hell. There's going to be nothing at stake at the end of the season, and the Eastern Conference is going to be like everything at stake.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it's going to be like because the West is so
bad. It's like it was last year.
Right now,
it was last year.
Like it's the East is going to be the only interesting end to the season.
And Corey Perry will be a Tampa Bay Lightning player.
Yep.
Any crazy names
you
guys think will?
That's my bold prediction. Corey Perry, Tampa Bay Lightning player at the end of the season.
They
go all the way to the Cup. Tampa goes all the way to the Cup final with Corey Perry on the team and lose it to the Coyotes in Mullet Arena. That's my bold prediction.
That is bold.
That's my bold and beautiful prediction. My soap opera prediction.
Do you guys think any crazy trades happen? Just off the top of your head.
Crazy trades. Who's gonna get
crazy? Realistic or unhinged Devils fan trades?
Well, no.
I think
crazy as in ridiculous picks and for a player.
Is there another Tanner Jeannot trade?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I can see multiple picks going for a player.
Just what we've seen so far with the players.
That trade's not crazy. That trade is just asinine. I don't even understand it. I still don't understand it. That trade makes.
I think
this is
I think this is going to be the trade deadline, or leading into the trade deadline. I think it's going to be the trade deadline that we actually see some goaltender movement that we just kind of never saw. Maybe it was rumored in the past that this goalie might go here, this goalie might go there, but I think we'll legitimately see some goalies moved on or before the deadline.
I think
that's
my
crazy.
I don't think it's to be on the last day. I think somebody's.
Which goaltender would you say, Steven?
I don't think Markstrom's going as much as people want. I don't think so.
So then the other name would be Fleury.
I think Fleury. I think Fleury is a guy that you can definitely see can definitely see moved.
I like it.
And then you might see some like depth guys. Like I can totally see the Penguins trading a goaltender. I don't think it's going to be Jari.
Trading
can
a
be
goaltender
Jari,
away?
But yes.
You think they would trade Jari away in the midst of a playoff run?
It depends on where they are.
Yeah.
I don't think that like so. I don't think that they would. I don't think they'd sell Gensel. I'm thinking less likely that they'll
They'd be blown
trade
away.
Gensel.
Unless they get a
even that. I
ridiculous
mean,
trade,
Dubas has said Dubas has said he's had no conversations with anybody, and a GM doesn't go out there and say that because that's disrespectful to any GMs that he's actually talking to. So he's had no discussions with anybody. So I don't think that that's actually been a thing. But I can see. I mean, if a team wants to take on Jari, I can totally see him moved. I know the team is very, very high on Yoel Blomqvist in Wilkes-Barre. Excuse me. So I don't know. Going into next season, who knows? But I can see them moving, or even somebody like Nedeljkovic. There might be a team that wants somebody like Nedeljkovic for depth. Somebody like Toronto, that wants something better than what they have now. So that could happen. So I think somebody like a Nedeljkovic could be traded. But I do think you're going to see some goalies move. I think as far as big name goalies, I don't think Markstrom's going. But I've been wrong many times in the past.
He's got
if Markstrom goes, you saw what they got for Lindholm as a rental.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what they would get for Markstrom. But I think Fleury can go to a team that's a legitimate contender. I think he'd waive his no movement clause.
Steven, as the GM of Toothless, if you need to move me at the trade deadline, I will waive my no movement clause for you.
You know how many times I've been traded for Bone Storm, but just Tommy Bowers has told Steven, no, you can't do that. Like Steven's
every time.
Hey, I got to trade this guy. I have a deal worked out. Can we please make it happen? And Tommy's shot it down every time.
Yeah, apparently every time I'm not abiding by some sort of rule. Like I just I want are like 3 more IDS pucks. Just 3 more IDS pucks. I offered Schwim, but I've gotten offers for even upwards of 4 IDS pucks for Schwim, and nothing. All used, but still pucks.
All used.
Yeah.
Yeah, poor Schwim.
These days, somebody will take a flyer on Schwim.
Schwim, happy anniversary, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheers. Thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Yes. Happy anniversary to the two of you. Happy anniversary to the night we were all so hammered.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And how appropriate. I'm drinking a beer from that event.
That wedding.
I do like it.
That was a good time.
Radko Gudas. Craig Best, I don't know if you know the contract that Radko Gudas signed over in Anaheim.
Quite awful.
It is ugly with a capital UG and a lowercase Lee
It
and
takes
an
after
exclamation
his
point.
physical
And he's
appearance.
also very bad.
Yeah.
He's also a really bad defenseman.
Actually, please, Devils, make that trade. I would love it.
No, I don't want us to make any. I would be
Radko Gudas and Corey Perry?
For a second round pick. Yeah. Corey Perry.
This may. If
Sure,
the
you know how
right
hard
trades,
I would laugh if they acquired Corey Perry at you.
Oh my God!
I know how hard. I know. All I know is I don't see the Devils making a move unless they absolutely need to, and I just don't see it happening.
They'd have to be really close to a playoff spot.
They have to be close, and they have
where
to be.
the people are in March.
And I don't think Fitzgerald is going to jeopardize the future for a one-time move right now.
Please do it.
And if he does, and they're not even in a playoff spot, but they're close, and he jeopardizes it, it's gonna be pretty stupid.
Yeah,
and they don't make the playoffs.
I mean,
it's gonna be really bad.
We have a seventh round pick for Shesterkin.
If the 7th round pick is Jack Hughes, sure.
You got yourself a deal.
7th round pick. 7th round pick for Shesterkin.
Oh yeah, that's a great trade. Let me just sign up for it right now.
Down season.
Yep.
It's an overpay. It's an overpay. All right. Rank those beers.
It's
Whatever I
time
rank
stop
mine
now,
all the
Mac.
time. Good.
Mine's
Stout.
always a 4.
3.75.
It's
I'm
stout.
going. I'm with you, Dean.
Not very
3.75.
peanut buttery. Not very peanut buttery.
For
Not
my
very caramelly.
spilled beer.
It's just a very heavy stout. I'm gonna be sitting with this thing for a while. Happy birthday again. And Shwim, happy anniversary. You can
Thank
take
you,
it
I
away.
appreciate it. Happy birthday to your daughter. Did you guys know it's National Shower with a Friend Day? So I got the water running, the heat's on. 20 minutes. Get over here. Let's go. Let's go.
That's for right, yeah, that's my